My girlfriend demanded, "Give me half your Bitcoin, we're partners, aren't we?" I replied, "Naturally." Then I sent her a wallet with $1 in it and a link to a crypto basics course. Now she's blasting me on TikTok as a financial abuser, and it's going viral. I, 32 male, have never thought of myself as a planner. I don't map out my life in 5-year increments. My guiding principle has always been to just handle what's in front of me. I'm a guy who got lucky. About 10 years ago, a buddy of mine was obsessed with this new magic internet money. To get him to shut up about it, I threw a few $100 at it, the cost of a decent night out. Then I promptly forgot all about it. I finished school, started a career, and lived my life. For the last 2 years, that life has included Lisa, 30. Lisa is vibrant. She lives her life out loud, mostly through her phone screen. She's beautiful, funny, and has this way of making the most mundane Tuesday feel like a movie premiere. I thought we were happy. We built a life in our apartment, I paid the rent and bills, she was working on her brand. It worked for us. Then, a few months ago, that old college buddy texted me. "Dude, have you checked your wallet lately?" I hadn't. It took me a week to even find the old hard drive with the key. When I finally logged in, I felt the world tilt. That throwaway beer money had morphed into a life-altering sum. We're talking 7 figures. Enough to feel like you can finally breathe. I didn't tell anyone. It didn't feel real. For a week, I just sat with it. What do you even do with that? I started making a quiet plan. Pay off my parents' mortgage. Set up a trust for my sister's kids. Maybe finally buy a house instead of pouring money into rent. My mistake was getting too comfortable. I was researching tax implications on our shared laptop. I must have left a window open. Last Wednesday, Lisa sat me down on the couch. She had that look in her eye, the one she gets before she's about to launch a new TikTok series. It's a mixture of intense focus and performative sincerity. "Babe," she said, her voice soft, "we need to talk about our future, our financial future." I played dumb. "Okay, should we be budgeting better?" She laughed, a little tinkling sound that suddenly sounded like grinding glass. "No, silly. I'm talking about the Bitcoin." My blood went cold. "I saw," she said, gesturing to the laptop. "And I'm so proud of you, of us. It's amazing." She squeezed my hand. Her palms were clammy. "I think it's only fair that you send me half. We're partners, aren't we?" I looked at her, really looked at her, the woman I thought I loved. And in that moment, I saw a stranger. There was no we in how she said it. There was just a cold, hard demand dressed up in the language of a partnership she'd never truly invested in, beyond her presence. The pain was sharp, but surprisingly clarifying. It was like a switch flipped in my head. The hurt was there, but it was being overridden by a strange, cold calm. "You're right," I said, my voice even. "We're partners, naturally." A brilliant, relieved smile spread across her face. "Oh babe, thank you. I knew you'd understand. Just set me up a wallet and send it over." So I did. I spent an hour setting up a brand new digital wallet. I transferred $1 into it. Then I emailed her the login details with the subject line, "Our Future." In the body of the email, I included a link to a highly rated Crypto for Beginners course. I wrote, "Partnership requires understanding. Let's start with the basics." For about 12 hours there was silence. I knew the storm was gathering. Then, my phone started buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. It was a TikTok. Lisa, teary-eyed, mascara running artfully down one cheek. The caption, "When you give a man your youth and he repays you with financial abuse." In the video, she tearfully recounts how her long-term partner hid millions from her, and then when she calmly asked for her fair share as his partner, he mocked her and threw a single penny at her. It's got 500,000 views. The comments are a dumpster fire. I'm a monster. A gaslighter. A financial abuser. Justice for Lisa is trending. My friends are texting me, confused. My sister called furious at Lisa. Thank God. I haven't responded to any of them, or to the 37 missed calls from Lisa. I'm just sitting here in the quiet of our apartment, looking at the lease agreement on my screen. The one that's only in my name. The calm is still there. It's a scary, unfamiliar feeling. She thinks this is a battle of public opinion. She thinks she can win by turning my world against me. She's a strategist. But it turns out when you're pushed, you learn to be one too. Update 1. It's been a weird week. The TikToks didn't stop. There's a whole series now. Lisa is staying with a friend, but still has a key. She came back to the apartment once when I was at work, supposedly to get more of her things. But when I got home, I noticed my office was neater. Too neat. A stack of papers on my desk was squared up. A pen was capped. Small things. Wrong things. A cold knot of dread formed in my stomach. She wasn't just grabbing clothes. She was looking for something. The public shaming campaign has fractured my social circle. Lisa, of course, has been working the phones, crying to our mutual friends, framing this as a simple misunderstanding she's desperate to fix. Then came the escalation. On Friday, I got the call from Daniel, our mutual friend and a paralegal, who always carried himself with this smug, "I know the rules better than you" energy. "Matthew, man, we need to talk," he started, his tone dripping with faux concern. "Lisa is a wreck. This has gone too far." "I agree," I said, keeping my voice flat. "Look, she feels like you're not taking her seriously as a partner. In the eyes of the law, that has weight." He then launched into a speech about demonstrating intent and how a judge could see this as a partnership entitling her to assets. It was all fluff, but it was rehearsed. "They're not asking for half anymore," he said smoothly. "A one-time payment of $250,000 for her emotional distress and her contribution to the partnership. She signs an NDA, takes down the videos, and you both walk away." It was the pre-rehearsed smoothness of it that got me. This wasn't a friend. This was an agent. Her tears, his call, a coordinated attack. The hurt flared up again, hot and sharp. It wasn't just my girlfriend. It was my friend too, plotting how to crack me open. "Let me think about it," I told him and hung up. My world felt tilted. My private space had been searched, and now I was being threatened. My first step was research. I spent an hour online, looking into the laws for my state. What I found was interesting. Recording video in your own home was perfectly legal. Audio was trickier. It was a one-party consent state. But several legal forums suggested that in your own home, where there is no reasonable expectation of privacy from the owner, recording audio of uninvited or deceptive guests was a defensible risk. A calculated one. My second step was to order a couple of small, discreet security cameras, the kind for keeping an eye on your dog. I felt a little paranoid, a little unhinged. But that feeling of my office being wrong, it wouldn't leave me. They were looking for something. The hard drive, paperwork, and they would be back. I was sure of it. They think they have me cornered. They've miscalculated. They've mistaken my quiet for weakness. The cameras arrive tomorrow. Update 2. The last 2 weeks have been a masterclass in psychological warfare. First, the fake legal letter arrived. Then, they hit me where it could actually hurt. The landlord. I received a notice of lease violation, citing illegal commercial activity and a fabricated complaint about client traffic. It was Daniel's vicious touch, designed to get me evicted and make me desperate. And for a day, it worked. The antagonist scored a real point. My stomach was in knots. I had visions of being forced out of my home, having to move while dealing with all this. They had found a real weak point. They had scored a hit. I responded to the landlord professionally, stating my guest had been creating online content without my consent and that I would rectify the situation. This bought me time. By then, the cameras were installed. One in the living room, one in my office, audio enabled. It was a gamble, but I was betting on it. Then I set my trap. I bought a new cheap hardware wallet, left the empty box on my desk, and tucked the device into an old jacket in my closet. A place someone would have to search for. On Thursday, Lisa texted. "Lisa, I'm coming to get the rest of my things. I'll be there around 2 p.m. tomorrow. I'll bring a friend to help me." The next day, I was at a coffee shop down the street watching a live feed on my phone. At 2:05 p.m., they let themselves in with a key. It had to be a copy. The thought of Daniel taking my keys, duplicating one, and returning them made me feel ill. The footage was damning. It wasn't packing, it was a systematic search. Daniel went straight for my office. I heard his tinny voice through my phone's speaker. "He got a new one," Daniel said, spotting the box. "Find it, check the pockets of his coats." Lisa found the dummy wallet in the jacket. "Got it," she whisper-screamed. They shared a gleeful, genuine high five. Then they sat on my couch. My couch. "He's going to freak," Lisa said, laughing. "He'll have to negotiate now." "Don't answer his first call," Daniel coached, the strategist revealing himself. "Let him stew. We tell him the price to get it back is the $250K. He'll think his millions are on that stick. What a moron. You're a genius, she said, leaning her head on his shoulder. I sat there, a cold smile on my face. I had it all. The illegal entry with a copied key, the ransacking, the clear, verbal confirmation of their extortion plot. All recorded. Their win with the landlord had pushed me to create the very evidence that would be their undoing. That evening, my first call was to a locksmith. As he worked, I saved the video file. The game had changed. Final update. The fallout wasn't a mushroom cloud. It was a series of controlled, bureaucratic demolitions. My rage had cooled into something crystalline and precise. Phase 1. The bureaucratic takedown. The morning after their heist, I requested an urgent meeting with my building manager. In person, I presented my case. The initial violation notice, my suspicion it was malicious, and the video of the break-in and conspiracy to extort. The manager was horrified. While not as instant as a phone call, the result was definitive. Within 48 hours, a formal notice to cure or quit was delivered to Lisa at her friend's address, giving her a legal deadline to remove all her possessions. Her access to the property was officially terminated. Next, the email to Daniel's boss, the senior partner at his firm. Subject: a professional concern. Dear Mr. Henderson, I am writing regarding a serious ethical breach by your paralegal, Daniel last name, who has been advising my ex-partner in an attempt to extort money from me. This video of him using a copied key to enter my home and plot this extortion may be of interest to you. I trust you take your firm's reputation for integrity seriously. Regards, Matthew. There was no instant firing. That's not how the real world works. But I heard through a stunned mutual friend that Daniel was called into a meeting with HR, was shown a printout of my email, and was immediately suspended without pay, pending an internal investigation. A week later, the same friend told me Daniel had been quietly terminated for gross misconduct. Checkmate. Phase 2. The social implosion. Lisa started texting me frantically after the landlord's notice arrived. Lisa. Death. Daniel was suspended. What did you do? And finally, Lisa. Matthew, I have your crypto wallet. Don't be stupid. I didn't reply. Instead, I uploaded the video to a private Dropbox folder and sent a single text to our mutual friends, my family, and yes, even her parents. I know you've all heard Lisa's version of our breakup. I feel you deserve to see the truth. I'm sorry to involve you, but I felt you needed the context. The password is partnership. The reaction wasn't a perfect wave of support. It was messy. Some friends were apologetic. A couple tried to play peacemaker. But the visual evidence was undeniable. Her narrative crumbled. The most painful response came from her father, who called me. He didn't yell. He just sounded exhausted. I'm sorry, son, for her behavior. Phase 3. The final confrontation. She showed up that night, pounding on my newly locked door. I spoke through the steel. You need to leave, Lisa. You're trespassing. Give me my stuff, she screamed, her voice raw with real fury. Your things are boxed up. A storage company will be in touch to arrange delivery. I've paid for the first month. You bastard, she shrieked. I have your wallet. I'll smash it to pieces. You'll get nothing. This was the moment. I almost laughed. Lisa, I said, my voice dripping with a condescending calm I didn't know I possessed. Go ahead, smash that piece of plastic. It's a $20 dummy. The real one is safe. And even if it were the real one, the money isn't on the device. It's on the blockchain. As long as I have my recovery phrase, the stick is worthless. I let that sink in. All you'd be doing, I continued, is destroying a piece of evidence. Evidence the police now have, along with a report for breaking and entering an attempted extortion. So go ahead, make my case for me. There was a long, dead silence. Then a choked sob. The sound of defeat. Her footsteps retreated down the hall. 3 months later, life is quiet now. I sold the crypto. I paid the taxes, paid off my parents' mortgage, and put the rest into boring funds. I moved out of that apartment. I hear things. Lisa's TikTok went dark after the video leaked. Not from me. Daniel is facing a review from the state bar. They blame me, of course. In their story, I'm the evil mastermind. They'll never get it. I don't feel triumphant. Mostly, I just feel peace. The betrayal left a scar, but it also taught me something about myself. I never thought of myself as a planner, but you learn what you're capable of when you're pushed into a corner. You learn how to handle what's in front of you, one methodical step at a time.